रूबरू में आप लोगों का फिर से और एक बार स्वागत है। और आज हमारे साथ जो जुड़ने जा रही हैं अ मोस्ट एमिनेंट डांसर, कंटेम्प्रेरी डांसर, कोरियोग्राफर एंड डायरेक्टर मिसेस स्वाति मोहन जी। और बाय नेम आप सभी इनको जानते हैं और सभी ने इनका काम देखा है। जी मैंने आपको
Hi,
हेलो
is it
बस
working?
रूबरू में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है और आई एम सो ऑनर्ड दैट मोस्ट एमिनेंट contemporary dancer, choreographer, and director of India. And now in this
Oh,
platform, I'm so honored today. Thank you so much.
thank you so much, Kaushik. Thanks for the kind words and thanks for inviting me. I think at this moment, conversation about arts is very important. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you took the initiative. You've invited such lovely people who you've invited in the past. It's very nice.
Voice is very
Good.
low. Voice is very
Voice is
low.
low.
Yeah. It's
Check.
the there have some network issue. Can you see me? Can you see me?
I think the internet. Yes, I can. I think the internet is a bit of a. Uh, yeah.
Just a minute. Yeah. It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay
yeah, yeah.
now?
Can you see me? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I see.
you can see me well, hear me well, no
Yeah,
problem.
first class. Everything is fine.
Okay, finally. The technicals of Instagram.
Yeah, my first question is Swati Mohan is a well-known contemporary dancer in India, and as a choreographer, director. How was your journey? Uh, आपकी जो आर्टिस्टिक जर्नी है वो कैसा रहा और इतनी लंबी लंबी समय तक आपने आपकी जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो भी बहुत ज्यादा है। सो अगर आप आपकी जर्नी के बारे में थोड़ा सा
Yeah, I think the internet. Hear me well. You can hear me well,
या
no? Because it's just sometimes goes off. Okay. This is a question which can take a very long time if I answer it with depth. But because you see, there's been so much that has happened in the last many years and this lifetime. So I would try to keep it short and share some milestones. I've just been interested in performing arts ever since I was younger, a child, and in the school was always dancing or singing or one of those kind of things was always happening.
Okay.
But progressively, as I stepped out of school, because at the time when I was in school, arts was definitely not considered to be a career option. And one had to do something else, be a doctor, engineer, architect, one of those kind of things. And so hence, I was interested in science a lot actually. I was interested in life science. I was not generally interested like physics and chemistry or what, kuch samajh nahi aata tha. But biology, body, I was very interested in the body. And hence I thought maybe I needed to study medicine. But I'm a very hands-on person. I need to get in there, get my hands dirty to understand the thing. So academics, many books, it doesn't work for me. So It's a blessing actually. I didn't pass through any of those pre-medical tests. And but every single step in life, you know, Kaushik, what I have to share is through my journey and because what is this conversation? I feel that it's not just about the story of my life or whatever, but I think it's just kind of a way to look at life that I would like to share that I found through my journey. I think that is
Yeah,
that was more
yeah,
helpful
that
for
is more
me.
important. Yes.
Yeah, and so as I was progressing, I realized I studied zoology after that because that was the best next subject to study if you couldn't get into you know human body science. So. But I realized I loved animals too much because they would bring rats and frogs and stuff, different animals into our dissection trays in the laboratory. And I saw them, you know, they were live and they were being snapped with their neck so that they are still not dead but alive, and we could cut them off and see how their hearts are beating. And that just, it, it was horrible, horrible. So that was a landmark experience for me because in any case, when I was quite younger, I had turned vegan, a term that is now very popular. Nobody knew what vegan was. But I had turned vegan because I couldn't see myself drinking a cow's milk that's for the calf and you know so on meat, and I'm still vegan, but I turned vegan then. So obviously this was it was terrifying for me. So I stopped. It's like, no, I can't do this. I can't continue, but I raised my voice. I'm also this person. I can't stop to say it is wrong. You know, you can hate me for it, but I'm going to say it is wrong. So, of course, my teachers hated me, and they all obviously didn't also give me good scores and stuff like that. But I didn't care, and I stopped. But my heart was in arts, Kaushik. I feel that every soul is a creative soul.
Yes.
And given a chance, everybody would like to actually just practice arts for a living. But unfortunately, the conditioning is such that you are forced to look at other things and let go of your dreams and what you really feel in the heart and carry on with stuff in your life. And I think in that sense, courage, at some place courage, just taking that leap of faith, which is very essential. And the universe conspires, it instantly stands up to support you. The moment you say, I'm going to do this, and it has universal good intentions, the whole universe stands up. And this has been proved to me so many times this life. So while I was doing zoology and I left it and I stepped into mass communications after that, by the way, I was in advertising for 4 years. I don't know what I was doing that. Because there was no time to sleep, there was no time to do anything, just mindlessly working. And I was like, oh no, I can't do this. And then dance happened. Just out of a newspaper, a dance company had just started that year in 98 in Delhi, and they were opening classes, and I said, okay, now I can pay for my class because I come from a very humble background, Kaushik, like most of us. Or there was not a lot always. There were also times when we had not enough to pay for our school fee also. And we used to live in one room house and those kind of things. But God's been great and there's been so many gifts.
Your voice is so low. Your voice is
Voice
so
is low again.
Yes.
Should I do this?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
this better?
Yeah.
Okay then. Anyway, so I moved on and I took a leap of faith. I left advertising eventually after 4 years of unnecessary, struggling there, and I jumped into dance. And it's so that was 98. I started classes like a regular student, going once a week, twice a week. 4 years I did that, and 2002 I said, okay, not happening. I just have to do this.
Okay.
And I jumped in, and the universe instantly conspired. And I also found sort of part-time job to go and take care of myself. Although the idea of working again was absolutely not welcoming. I was like, no, 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 I don't want to work, no. Uh, but that part-time job was very important for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to survive the 1 year where I was in rigorous training and not earning, just paying and learning. And since then, life has been very kind, Kaushik. There's been many ups and downs, but there is so much learning. I just feel that having been wanting to be a doctor at that time,
Yes.
because my work is with healing today. I'm interested in healing. I'm interested in, and not just interested, I experience that all the time, how arts helps you to heal. And hence, I still continue to do that, what I wanted to do when I was very young, but in completely another way. I think more enriching way,
Yeah.
So, just kind of little, yeah, graph that was.
So how was your
Yeah.
experience with dance rocks?
Uh, that was, yes, the first company and the only company I worked with. And they really gave me extremely, like, Ashley was a father figure and is still a father figure.
Actually, I'm a student of, I'm also a student of.
Oh, very nice. Lovely. So you know that one of the things that DanceWorks does very well is instill the basics in the body like that. You've got it. If you just have to stay consistent with your training and you've got the basic right. And I think that's what DanceWorks did.
Yeah.
And what, it was very valuable. जो नींव होती है आपकी अगर पुख्ता है तो आपकी बिल्डिंग जो है स्ट्रांग रहेगी. सो या
मतलब एशली सर के साथ आपका जो जर्नी रहा बहुत अच्छा रहा. सबका अच्छा ही होता है. जो कोई भी वहां से सीख के निकलते हैं सबका अपना अपना अच्छा होता है. So, डांसर परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स जो आपने एस्टैब्लिश्ड किया उसकी क्या मतलब व्हाट इज द काइंड ऑफ आइडियाज क्या था और उसकी अभी तक की जो एक्टिविटीज है अगर उसके बारे में अगर थोड़ा सा आप
See, I was this danza actually formed in sort of the way that it formed, sprouted, I would say. It sprouted in 2007 when I began my independent dance journey. When I said that, okay, I'm going to independently practice and I will find who I really am. Because, technique is one thing. And technique of any art form is one thing. In music, you need to know where your sa is, where your ga is, where your ma is. Like these days, I'm training back in Hindustani classical, and my teacher's really working with the ga and the ma and how I'm getting lost in these two. But music has its own technique, dance has its own technique, all the art forms. So technique एक चीज़ है, but how you use that technique to enrich yourself. You use that technique to find really what your unique creative voice is. That was the journey I started in 2007 when I started my independent practice. And danza was an idea, initially, by the way, danza was an idea between me and 2 of my friends, 3 of my friends more. We were 4 of us, and we sat together. We were all in the same place in terms of our aspirations, where we had come from, what we had received, what we were wanting. But universe has its own plans for everybody. So it just so happens that then danza became my baby to take care of, right in the beginning already. and for me, it was just clearly about finding my creative voice, a unique whatever I stand for, and self-work, really finding a place for just kind of laboratory, and sharing, because I think as artists, spending time in the laboratory very valuable, but bringing out what you have found and sharing with the community is extremely important. So the teaching and learning is very, very important for me. And Danza stands for that. Danza stands for anybody who would like to just step into a space where they would like to work with their self, with their higher self, with their inner self. And at this moment, Kaushik, I would really like to bring in my guru, who I found.
Dilip Shankar.
Dilip Shankar, yeah. And yes, Dilip Shankar. And I think Danza's energy, my work, my life, what I'm speaking at this moment, absolutely every single thing is connected to the energies of my guru. And it's been such a wonderful, it's been 12 years now. And it's been such a wonderful journey in Danza. We are like a tight family. I have seen children coming to me when they were 5, grown up. And the experience of seeing them growing up, and not just physically growing up, but growing up emotionally, mentally, thought processes have risen. Like when an 11-year-old sits with me and talks about the education policy, I just feel like, wow, she is 11 years old. And then we talk about other kind of really deep eternal truths. We sit and we discuss. It's just been an amazing journey, and I look forward to it as to where further it's going to take all of us.
जब भी कोई संस्था बनाते उसको बहुत संजो के रखते हैं, लाइक अ बेबी, और उसकी जो प्रार्थनाएं हैं वो उससे घिरी हुई हो, शास्त्रीय यूनिट ऑफ परफॉर्मिंग आर्ट्स के साथ तो परफॉर्म करता, लेकिन फिर आपने उसको संजो के रखा है।
हाँ।
सो ऐसा हर एक शायद जो वो एक आपको जन्म दे, कोई ऐसा ही करता है, और सबको लगता है कि इट्स अमेजिंग कि आपके अंदर वो इट्स माय फैमिली, सो इट इज अमेजिंग। नृत्य में इनर कनेक्शन,
आपकी ना आवाज थोड़ी कट रही है कौशिक, सॉरी, मेरे को ज्यादा समझ नहीं आ रहा था।
कैन यू हियर
इंटरनेट?
नहीं
हाँ, आई कैन हियर यू। वो अच्छा
जी,
क्रैक हो रही है या somebody सेइंग एको भी कर रही है? हाँ, बोलिए।
हाँ, इको कर रही है क्योंकि आप मैं भी सुन रहा हूँ मेरी आवाज।
अच्छा, ठीक।
ईयरफोन हटा देंगे क्या?
ओ, ईयरफोन हटा दूं? ओ,
तो देखिए ना क्या होता है, क्योंकि वो इको करता है।
नहीं, मेरे लिए एको नहीं कर रही है, किसी ने कमेंट किया है, मेरे लिए एको नहीं कर रही है, मेरे लिए ठीक है।
मैं अपनी वॉइस खुद ही सुन पा रहा हूँ, इको कर रहा है वो, शायद वो एयरफोन की वजह से, क्योंकि
टेक्निकल
या जी आप सुन पा रही हैं? जी, अभी इको नहीं हो रही है जी। नृत्य में इनर कनेक्शन एंड बॉडी माइंड सेंटरिंग की क्या अहमियत है?
इनर कनेक्शंस और बॉडी माइंड सेंटरिंग की क्या अहमियत है मेरे लिए?
जी मैं अभी सुन नहीं पा रहा हूँ।
आप नहीं सुन पा रहे तो मैं वापस आऊँ ना, क्योंकि आवाज लॉस्ट हो जाएगी। आई विल पुट दिस बैक ऑन, है ना?
या डेफिनेटली।
टेक्निकल इश्यूज ना।
हाँ, क्या कर सकते हैं, वो इको होने दीजिए। कुछ नहीं कर सकते।
हाँ, चलेगा।
जी, नृत्य में इनर कनेक्शन और की क्या अहमियत है?
एक्चुअली कौशिक मेरे लिए पूरी ज़िंदगी है वो।
ये जो
माय
ये सामने सामने कैमरे के सामने सामने कैमरे
yes, 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 got it. Okay. So, मेरे लिए inner connections and inner connections is all the whole life. It's my whole life. Because which is why my work is titled Finding Inner Connections. It's also called Finding because I think finding never finishes. So the search carries on forever. So because I'm interested in mind and body connection, and for me arts is a way to heal yourself and connect to your higher self, and from there of course magic happens. So this whole process of understanding that is my whole life. And for that, I tap into various different kind of processes, of course, somatic processes, arts processes anyway, theater, dance, music. And also, neuroscience came into my research in 2017, although it was there earlier. Because I had actually, this is also a milestone in my life, but it directed me to a beautiful place. Because in 2012, I had met with an accident and I had suffered a head injury. And from then on, I became very interested in brain studies and how the brain functions. And of course, it's all about the brain. And even the neuroscientists and neurologists and, we do not know. Human beings actually don't know much about brain, even though there are many researchers on. So neuroscience came into also my studies in 2017. Physically, it finally manifested. So National Brain Research Center is literally, because I live in Gurgaon, and National Brain Research Center is literally like 20 kilometers away from my house. The National Brain Research Center of India. And when I was really seeking to go in this direction, I simply just searched National Brain Research Center because there was a scientist who was coming to my class, and I just shared with her. And she said, oh, but National Brain Research Center is right here, Swati, why don't you connect with them? So I randomly looked up the website, randomly picked up, chose a neuroscientist I wanted to connect to because he had similar sort of studies he was doing, and then we kind of connected. And the work is extremely slow. हम बहुत आगे कहीं नहीं बढ़े हैं, मतलब बहुत ही हम थोड़ा करते हैं, फिर बहुत ही slowly, But initially, mirror neurons came into my sort of cognizance in a way. And we researched it in our choreographic laboratories. We got inspired by it, and it was quite amazing because you see the stuff that is heard about mirror neurons, that empathy actually sits in mirror neurons, and we experienced that in our rehearsals. That the dancers who were working with each other, and they were already like weeping. I was like, what just happened? It's like, I don't know, I really felt connected to her, and we were working with mirror neurons. So inner connections for me is my whole life, Kaushik. उसकी अहमियत मेरे लिए, मतलब मेरी पूरी जिंदगी ही है वो. It's my whole life. Yeah.
NSD, गति, श्री राम स्कूल, ऐसे कई बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशन के साथ आपने काम किया. अगर वो एक्सपीरियंस थोड़ा सा हम लोगों के साथ शेयर करें, क्या एक्सपीरियंस रहा है आपका?
See, NSD is quite interesting for me because there are actors there. My work is in dance theater. So, and I'm also an actor, and I love working with text a lot. And there is don't have, and the kind of strength that dancers have, actors don't have. So that kind of exchange really brings to a really wholesome place. So I love working with actors there. And especially because, the students in NSD, they are largely from the interior, small towns in the country. And, just the energy that they have, the hunger that they have, in which they step into classes. I just enjoy teaching. My whole life is about teaching and learning, teaching and learning. I teach to learn. And I learn so much from them when I'm in sessions with them. And Sri Ram School, for example, it's not just one. Sri Ram School now, I've been going often there, but there are many other schools I work with and have worked with in the past. Sri Ram has become a sort of a consistent thing. Again, children, it's, oh my God, there's so much to learn from these children, so much, so much. So it's so joyous to work with them. Abhi, last week, they had organized this festival for performing arts, online, virtual, which they do every year. And the students from different schools, they created stuff on video, through whatever virtual connections with each other. And it was quite fabulous to see that, these children, they are being able to, they are in their teens, na? They're being able to direct their energy somewhere. And they are feeling empowered by it, So I like that idea a lot. And I don't know what else did you say, Gati? Yeah, well, of course, Gati has been very enriching as well. It's been so many years that the collaboration started, and it's been quite an amazing journey. Finding Inner Connections found its place also there.
Mandeep also a very good dancer and choreographer.
Indeed, indeed.
He is amazing. तो आपकी जो रिसर्च वर्क उसके बारे में अगर थोड़ा सा साझा करें.
I have begun to understand, because, for me also, my work gets clearer and clearer with the day. And it begins to, I can articulate it better with time and with days.
Okay.
And where I've about being present. And so this whole idea of, and the concept and technique of streaming the consciousness, where basically everything that in arts we experience or practice has an absolute straight parallel that can be drawn in our daily lives. कोई चीज़ नहीं है that we are doing in arts which cannot be applied in daily life, and hence, for me, at this moment, it has become about, because I've realized, because I observe myself a lot, a tool that I was, kind of brought face to face with by Dilip, that observe yourself many years ago. And I observe myself that I always start from a place of not knowing. So for example, at this moment while we are talking, I have a wobble board right behind me. It has been sitting like this for the last 5 days. There's a wobble board. एक board होता है, physiotherapy में use होता है कि when you stand on it, it's very good for your knees, ankles, okay? I have a wobble board sitting behind me. There are 7 very tiny, वो चाय वाले glasses होते हैं ना? Those are sitting there. On the top of that, playing cards are sitting. And right next to it, Fez's work, there's a book of Fez which is lying next to it. And these ideas are disjointed and have just come to me like this. And I'm just like, okay, why are you sending this to me? Okay, I'm going to think about it. And these ideas are sitting together. And I have to research as to what these ideas are trying to say to me. What is it that I have to do with them? Why did they even come to me? So I'm sharing this with you because this is really my process. Not just in creation, but this is my process in the body also. So, for example, like shoulders, for example, and the neck, it holds the energy of responsibility. So if you generally feel alone in life and you feel like you're just going at it and there's nobody supporting you, you are alone, your neck and shoulder begins to play up, okay? You begin to have neck and shoulder issues, you know. And now this observation, sometimes I might not be feeling like that at all, but feeling, like I'm not feeling, but I feel contraction in my shoulder. And then I have to sit and think about it as to, I'm not feeling it, but why is it there? Or vice versa, I'm really feeling it, but it seems like my shoulders are at the moment relaxed. Or they might just be, I'm feeling it and it is there, you know. So this is the physical research that I like to do. And hence the importance of also improvisation and especially real-time performance. Like I'm very interested in, now and more my work in the last 2-3 years has gone towards real time. It's happening now at this moment as you're watching. It's not set. There is no set choreography. There are milestones. There is a structure. But what's going to happen in the structure, we don't know. But we have just worked on it over and over again. Just to kind of, and that brings me again to being present, because when you are performing while you're making, you cannot do justice to it if you're not fully present at this moment, at this time, in body, mind, everything. Like your mind can't be at home with some ladai that you've had or, you know, something, and you're standing here and nahi ho sakta. That can happen with set choreography, where you have to do, you can zone out if you need to, for example, but you can't. So that space interests me a lot. And yeah, that's what I work with.
मैं जब आपको सुन रहा हूँ, तुरंत मेरे दिमाग में आपके नाम मैं विजुअलाइज कर रहा हूँ। तो आपकी बातों के साथ मैं काम की कोरियोग्राफी ट्रीटमेंट को मैं समझने की कोशिश क्या दैट इज वाई मतलब ये मेरे साथ है। अगर आप कुछ कह रही है तो मैं उसको वो अंदर दृष्टि से मैं देखने की कैसे पूरा तो दिस हैपन विद मतलब ये हमेशा होता रहता है। अगर मैं कोई विजुअल देखता मेरे साथ भी बात कर रहा है और मैं उसका विजुअल देख पाता हूँ, तो ये मतलब कुछ समय ऐसा होता है कि कुछ लोग सोचते हैं ये मुझे सुन तो रहा है ना। इसी समय मतलब रूबरू में भी ऐसा हुआ था, कोई मुझसे पूछ रहा है हियर नहीं मतलब आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हो ना। हाँ मैं आपको काम को देख भी रहा हूँ। तो ये प्रोसेस मेरे अंदर कंटिन्यूअस वो चलता रहता है। तो इसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे आपसे, लेकिन वर्चुअल पे नहीं। इसके रीजन क्या है, ये मेरी बचपन से ही है। तो या HR take an international as a speaker. As a speaker आपको आमंत्रित किया गया था। कैसा रहा वो जब आपको बोलने
बड़ा मजा आया। हाँ, जब मुझे बोलने दिया
आपको बोलने के लिए जब मतलब बुलाया गया तो उस समय कैसा अनुभव?
देखिए बहुत ही मजा आया, दोनों जगह मजा आया, क्योंकि एक तो मिरर न्यूरॉन्स के काम के साथ ही हमें इनवाइट किया गया था। HR Tech is actually an international HR conference, and the topic that they were discussing was innovation. And they had invited the work keeping that in mind. And it was very interesting to be amongst corporate people. And you know, and it's a majorly abstract work. You know, there is no entertainment, so to speak. Yeah, of course one can get and I get very entertained with my you know, abstract work, but not everybody, right? So there was no entertainment there. Yeah, but it was just, I can't tell you, it was so, it's empowering, no, Kaushik? When I, see, that is also another really very important thing for me. That my work, yes, stands in abstraction and all of that, because I feel abstraction gives so much more possibility. you know.
Okay.
So much more possibility of interpretation, of also just the way, there's so many ways, you know, there's no fixed, because you can keep on searching, there'll be so much you can find. So I like that sort of limitless, wide horizon space. And that's why I stay in abstraction. But the other very important thing for me is extremely important thing. This is very important, that the creations that are manifested through our researches, whichever way they are, that it should reach and be appreciated by absolutely every single person, and not just the ones who are initiated. You understand? Because especially in our country, there is a thing of abstraction, contemporary dance. Oh, can't understand. What was that? Pata hi nahi chala. You know, समझ नहीं आता.
मैं आने
All
वाला
of that.
था, आपने बोल दिया, आने वाला था इसी में.
क्योंकि वो बात खुलनी ही है. अगर मुझे कॉर्पोरेट में बुलाया गया है, जो लोग सिर्फ कंप्यूटर पे बैठते हैं, जो सिर्फ नंबर्स के बारे में और अलग चीज़ों के बारे में बात करते हैं, जो हमारी ज़िंदगी में तो होता ही नहीं है, यू नो. तो ये मेरे लिए बहुत ही अमेजिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी भी थी और एम्पावरिंग भी था मेरे लिए कि ओह, दिस इज़ पॉसिबल. And Kaushik, each one of them appreciated the work. Not one came to me and said that हमें समझ नहीं आया, you know. So why? Also because one thing that's very important for me is that the work that manifests and goes out there also must be relatable. And I think it can be relatable only if the idea is allowed to lead the process, you know. Because self-indulgence होने लग जाती है जब when you are disconnected from the idea.
Yeah.
You started thinking I am going to do this, but in the process, you don't even know where that has gone, you know. Oh, I found this so beautiful, very nice, keep it. I found so beautiful. I think the hardest thing that a creative person, and for me, I keep on working on is editing. In the beginning, it's an open field. Let's play. Let's research. Let's play. Let's do various tasks. Let's see what we find. But eventually, when it comes to what to keep and what not to keep, I try to exercise detachment, and I try to leave. This doesn't. Yes, it's beautiful, but it doesn't work. So it was very empowering for me to be in HR Tech, very, very empowering. And then, of course, International Neuroscience Summit, I was just like, you know, the neuroscientists that I'm collaborating with, you know, Arpan was like, oh my God, like these scientists are coming from all over the world, you know. And, this is their game, you know. But it was another very empowering place, because my interest is in arts, science, and spirituality.
Yeah.
These three disciplines interest me. And I like to be in places where these three are coming together and they are playing together. And then there are insights that are coming out, which is helping everybody, you know. So I actually went in there as a group, not alone, because there were collaborators with me, my dancers. We went together, and as a scientist of life, you know, because I feel that I'm a scientist of life. I'm researching human behavior. I'm researching life, every single moment of my life. And that is translating into creative tasks. It is translating into movement. It's translating into some thing that we can kind of, you know, like that. So it was very empowering to be amongst the scientists, and they appreciated a lot also. And they gave some ideas also to think about. And it's an ongoing process. That work has not finished. It's an ongoing process. It's happening.
मुझे एक चीज आपसे पूछना था, व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इंडिया? देखिए, इंडिया में क्लासिकल डांसेस जो फेस्टिवल के अकॉर्डिंग डांस फेस्टिवल बहुत कम। मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आता, लोग कंटेम्प्रेरी डांस को समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं, या जो कंटेम्प्रेरी डांसर्स है तो एक तरीके से अपने मनोदशा जो है, जो कहना चाह रहा है, वो एक्सप्रेस नहीं करते। या तो कोई एक वोकैबुलरी, जैसा अगर हम क्लासिकल म्यूजिक करते हैं, भरतनाट्यम, ओडिसी, मणिपुरी, आप उसी में समाहित एक लैंग्वेज जो डेवलप हुई है। तो कंटेम्प्रेरी डांस की जो लैंग्वेज है, वो एक समसामयिक समकालीन या समसामयिक है। तो तो हम कैसे लोगों तक पहुंचाए? दिखने में अच्छा लगा। उस समय मैंने, जब मैं कोई परफॉर्मेंस बाहर निकला, तो वाओ, लेकिन समझ में नहीं तो ये काफी समय ना। तो आपका इसमें क्या राय है?
Um, See, I'm going to, Kaushik, perhaps share, for example, me. I have grown up watching film work all my life. Not all my life, until a certain moment for sure. Later on, of course, when I built other interests, I found other places, avenues, other kinds of work. I started to get gravitated towards them. But when I was growing up, I've grown up to film work.
Okay.
And in India, film work is very popular, and film work sets a sort of a, kind of way of how a certain thing is practiced, because it just has such a wide reach.
Yeah.
And also, the people who are presenting it have a certain kind of space that in our minds, they're stars and so on. Irrespective of the fact that we are a very diverse country, we've got classical forms in dance, and our music is amazing. There's so much to learn from the Hindustani classical music and so on. But it's not mainstream. It doesn't, so to speak, this mainstream. And so I have also grown up to that. And when I was presented with contemporary dance work and abstraction and looking at things differently and all of that kind of perspective, it was not easy for me as well, Kaushik. Okay? Because if I've grown up looking at Sri Devi or Madhubala or Helen, that's how I look at or think dance is. Now, in the past 10, 15 years, the face of dance is slowly changing in the country. Again, we have to say that a whole lot is because of these reality TV shows that are happening. But again, actually now I want to share what I feel about, because this is mainstream and everybody is watching it so much and it has such wide reach, the sense of responsibility has to sit in with the people who produce it, with the people who are in it, and so on. Because it's not just about doing it for the sake of gratification and feeling good about yourself. And of course, how we can't blame only TV or that way this work to that. Commercialization is happening everywhere, so there is no judgment on that at all. Of course, everybody's thinking about money, so everybody's thinking about money, so they're also thinking about money. But when it becomes only about that, then of course, nobody's thinking about content, nobody's worried about, So I feel, hence, just the way general people process, in India, process artworks, not just in dance, even in visual arts, even in music, in all sorts of art forms. Just the way they process is very mainstream, because जो चीज़ accessible होती है, आपके घर में आ रही है, वो हर रोज़ आ रही है, free में आ रही है, no matter what, but it is sitting in your nerves somewhere, irrespective of whether you want it or not. Conditioning ऐसे ही होती है ना? Conditioning ऐसे ही होती है, देख देख के लोग सीखते हैं. So generally people have watched that, and hence that is one big thing I feel, and I feel that's the reason why generally people in our country have have to work very hard at art appreciation because they just feel like, oh, art meaning कुछ समझ नहीं आएगा. ये तो general perception है ना? And I think that not just the film. Now again, it comes down to education system also. In schools, what are we doing? In colleges, what are we doing with arts? How are we presenting it? Are there art appreciation courses being run regularly in schools and colleges so that, and it's the time of internet, you know, everything is accessible to everybody, you know. So now what are you watching? Because, for example, right now in the last 4 months, the top companies of the world and many artists of the world have opened their works out for free for watching. And it's up to you to choose. So in the clutter, the responsibility is not just in the makers, but the responsibility is also for the viewer as to where are you going to put your time and energy in. Have you even researched what all is there to watch? But you will only go and sit on Netflix and Amazon Prime or whatever that is. And it's very good. You should entertain yourself, please. Very important. But I think it's a collective thing. And hence, I feel contemporary dance, because it sits in a place of, that, it kind of gets a bit of stepmotherly treatment. And then you don't find funds, a contemporary dance, wo kya hota hai, and then you are kind of really making an effort towards even surviving with it, because all of us who are working with this work are really making a huge effort towards surviving in it and continuing to do our work. So I think it's a complex, very complex place. It's not very linear. बड़ा आसान नहीं है समझना. Yeah, but one has to keep doing.
यहाँ पर बहुत contemporary dance, contemporary art, वो शायद आपकी बातें बहुत finding your inner strength, inner soul, finding your हमेशा अपने अंदर आत्मा, अंतर आत्मा आपको देखो, सर्च करो, तब जाके आपको कंटेम्पररी आर्ट या आर्ट डांस समझ सकती है. क्योंकि कंटेम्पररी अगर हम मार्था ग्रेहम टेक्निक काफी सारे लोगों ने सर्च कर रहे हैं, मतलब शामरी को भी एक डेवलप करने तो हर जगह, मतलब अभी सीजन में तो काफी लोग अपने अपने प्रोसेस में ही हैं और ये आगे बहुत शक्ति कुछ अलग ही है. आई होप एक मत होंगे कंटेम्पररी डांस आर्ट को देखने का दर्शक. आई होप आप मेरे साथ
नहीं, आई कैन हियर यू, पर वो क्रैक हो के आ रही है, तो आई एम रियली पेइंग अटेंशन सो दैट आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड, क्योंकि थोड़ी आवाज क्रैक हो रही है. हाँ, प्लीज बोलें. या
आपने भारत तथा विश्व में आपके कला का प्रदर्शन किया, कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है आपका?
सॉरी, कहाँ पे? भारत व्हाट? सॉरी, प्लीज से अगेन.
I just saying that भारत तथा पूरे विश्व में आपने अपनी कला का प्रदर्शन दिया है, तो कैसा अनुभव रहा है? What is your experience?
Kaushik, I just feel it just, again, like I said, inner connections is my whole life. So the moment I'm working with people in another space, it's a change of geographic location. It only brings me to remind myself, and also this re-emphasis of the fact that we are all interconnected. We are all interconnected. Nobody is living in isolation, actually. And distance is nothing, So just having to work with different people in different geographic locations, be it different states, because our country is quite diverse, isn't it? Our country is Europe in itself, yeah. And then having to travel outside of the country as well and working with different nationalities, it just, because the questions are the same. The researches are the same actually. Even the ideas, there are sometimes resonances with, oh, I was thinking exactly this. And, so while I'm working with brain studies here and, going like this with mirror neurons here, I suddenly find somebody in New York who's also working with that and has created some work with a similar, idea. And I'm just like, whoa, wow, how nice, And so we are constantly connected in energy, whether we are physically meeting each other or not. And the beauty of creative work and arts, what I have experienced is this, that you end up, क्योंकि वो at least आप, like if it's a piece of work, for example, when you see it physically, and it will also come to you because of some universal conspiracy, it arrives and you're like, oh, I was thinking exactly this. And look at how beautifully this person has also explored this. Wow. Abhi recently, again, similar experience I had. I watched some work and I was like, I was thinking exactly this, and wow, this person has done it so beautifully well also. And I wrote to that person, a Belgian choreographer, and I said, wow, there's resonance in the ideas. So my experience is this, that when I travel, I meet different people. I just feel like we are interconnected. It's the same. We are the same. And it's so enriching to exchange.
इसीलिए शायद कहते हैं विश्व बड़ा छोटा है, आप इसको बहुत बड़े तरीके से मत सोचो, क्योंकि आप जो यहाँ पर बैठ के सोच रहे हो वो कहीं दूसरे देश में वैसा ही वो भी सोच रहा है, कोई और भी सोच रहा है, उसी दिशा में वो जा रहे हैं। तो आप कुछ नया कर रहे हो ये मत समझना, काफी सारे लोग कर रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं, ये बिल्कुल आपने सही बोला, ये नया कुछ नहीं होता है। मुझे तो लगता है कि ये आप कह ही नहीं सकते कि ओहो ये तो मैंने बड़ा नया कर दिया बड़ा। अरे कहीं ना कहीं किसी ना किसी ने इसके बारे में अगर कुछ किया भी नहीं है ना तो सोचा है, और सोच एनर्जी है, एंड एनर्जी इज ऑलरेडी आउट इन द यूनिवर्स, एंड द मोमेंट द एनर्जी इज आउट इन द यूनिवर्स, इट्स अप फॉर ग्रैब्स फॉर एनीबॉडी टू यूज एंड यूटिलाइज एंड बिल्ड ऑन, and that so many of us. आवाज कट रही है। सॉरी कौशिक, बहुत आवाज कट रही है मुझे, सॉरी, आई कांट हियर यू बिकॉज द वॉइस इज क्रैकिंग। या
आप सुन पा रही हैं? आप मुझे सुन पा रही हैं?
इंटरनेट इश्यूज जी। हाँ, नाउ यू आर काइंड ऑफ बैक, यू स्टिल ब्लरी बट यू आर काइंड ऑफ बैक। यू कैन हियर मी? हाँ,
एक इंटरव्यू में एक जगह बात हो रही थी कि कंटेंट इज कंटेंट इज सेम, कंटेनर इज डिफरेंट। तो आप कुछ भी नया नहीं कर रहे हो, जो भी कर रहे हो वो उसको थोड़ा सा एग्जीक्यूशन का जो माध्यम है वो बदल जा रहा है, और आपकी जो रिसर्च और थॉट प्रोसेस है, अलग अलग इंसान की अलग अलग थॉट प्रोसेस है, वो उस प्रोसेस एक नया प्रोसेस जनरेट हो रही है, बाकी चीजें सेम ही है। जैसा आपने अभी कहा कि आप जो यहाँ पर कर रही है न्यूयॉर्क में कोई दूसरा एक आर्टिस्ट सेम चीज करेगा। तो यस, स्वाति जी, व्हाट इज योर विजन फॉर द आर्ट? क्योंकि ये बहुत बड़ा एक सवाल है। सवाल इसलिए है कि यू आर लीडिंग एंड मेनी कंटेम्परेरी डांसर, वो आपसे इंस्पायर्ड होते हैं, और पूरा भारत पर शायद आपसे it's a big question. What is your vision?
I think my vision has already surfaced in the conversation that we've had, but we can kind of now put it together. Uh, uh, for me, arts is a way of life. And I visualize it as a way of life. I visualize it as, so I visualize it as, for example, in each little community, which are sort of colonies that we have, for example, I visualize that there is an open theater in each community. Like there are parks, there are community parks or community centers. I visualize there are open theaters that every evening or a few days in the week, the community gathers and there are performances and sharing of all the explorations that people are having in their own lives with arts. Whether it is music or dance or theater or writing, anything. Because for me, arts is a way of life. It's not a career, It is not, no, because ये ज़रूरी है समझना. Art, I feel, if there was no arts, Kaushik, I don't think, I wouldn't have been here. It's like breath, and it's so enriching, and it empowers you, it empowers everybody, it heals you so deeply, it connects you to the magic of the universe, it connects you to the whole this web that's operating, just because you made an effort to go there, right?
Yeah.
It was always there. It's always there. See, it's here. But if you make an effort to go there, So for me, that is what I feel arts की vision मुझे ये दिखती है. It's a way of life. It's every human being, every person in daily life. And not just a hobby, not just something that you do because today I have time, and you leave it because now I have to do better things, which is go to a job and get a salary. Please continue to do the other things as well. There is absolutely nothing wrong in it. Unfortunately, we are all stuck in this weird thing that has, ठीक है, वो करना पड़ेगा, करो, but please step into arts practice. And at this moment, if I have to say, what's the first step towards it? If you have never practiced any arts, you step into a class, right? Step into a class, no? Just step. Step into a performance, no? Just do it, Because her roles, everybody is being creative. Without paying attention to it, everybody is being creative. The people who are cooking in kitchens, they are being creative.
Yes.
Every day when you stand in front of the mirror and you think, what should I wear? You are already being creative. You are practicing arts. You're thinking, oh, this will go with that. Oh, no. Don't you do that. You do that, So I think this is also, ये जो space create हो गई है ना, Kaushik, there's a space between arts and people. And arts is considered as something which is inaccessible, which is cannot be understood, which is, it is there and I am here. And very few people are with it. I think that boundary has to break because really that's not what it is. And that is, I think a whole lot of responsibility falls on artists also. There has to be accessibility. Artists have to be, they have to present themselves, be accessible to people. Let them ask questions. No question is a silly question. Sitting there are so many, sitting there like this, oh, how did you even ask me that? I don't believe in these things. It's okay. It's fine. Just, it's fine. Like, this elitism, that elitism,
I have done lots of things in my career.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just flashback in my during this period what I faced in this period.
Oh, I can imagine.
No, it's okay, fine. No, may मैं एक क्वेश्चन आपसे ये पूछना चाहूंगा, इसी का सूत्र लेके, एक कलाकार में कौन कौन से गुण